Well, for the revolution, what we really want to do is create a machine that is accessible for everyone. We want something that maybe is not some big monster machine, but something that's going to be affordable, that's going to be easily accessible by all ages and all experienced gamers. We want something that, again, is going to be very user-friendly.
All right, well, we've seen the new PS3 and we've seen the Xbox 360. How do we see the revolution standing up against those two?
Well, I think really, basically, fundamentally, they're just taking a different direction to this than we are. You know, our goal is to reach a wide variety of users, a wide age group, a wide experience range, and we want to create a unique gaming experience where I think they're really trying to push, the technological aspects. And so I really don't think that their business model is going to have any impact on ours, or vice versa. We're really maybe not even in the same business, actually.
So putting the Nintendo aside, were you more impressed with the PS3 or more impressed with the Xbox 360?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had full access to their either company's announcements yet, so I really don't have a reaction.
So Nintendo's going to try to remain, you have this sort of kiddie image as far as your games. Nintendo okay with that, or does Nintendo want to go with this next gen into a more mature direction?
Well, Nintendo has never really thought of themselves as developing games or patterning their business around a specific age group. We're not going after sort of a specific children's market. A lot of our competitors like to maybe pigeonhole us and say that we're a kiddie console or a kiddie company, and I think that's just that's their marketing strategy. Our goal is obviously to create games that again are accessible by a wide age group of users. For example, our new Zelda game, Twilight Princess, is a game that will be accessible to a wide age group, and we haven't gone out of our way to skew it towards any age group. We've just gone with the natural storytelling, and we've gone with the natural progression of the game, and so that's our direction. And with Mario Kart, same thing. It may look more as it's directed towards a younger audience, but it's played by people of all ages. In contrast, actually, I think that targeting specific age groups, or some other companies are trying to get, maybe an older age group, by focusing only on games for those age group, we think they are limiting themselves, and that's not what we want to do.
One thing we didn't see, we saw a lot of great information today. One thing we did not see was anything as far as the controller went. Can you give us any insight? Because you've got to create games for this interface, but we don't know what this controller looks like. It's going to be wireless, what the button's going to look like. Can you give us any information on the controller?
Well, we've already experimented with wireless controllers, and so I can tell you right now that the Revolution controllers will be wireless, and there will obviously be some more unique and original functionality with the controller. It's the same thing that we did with the DS. We build a certain format or functionality, and then we try that different patterns to see how it feels and how it works. And right now we're at the point where I think that we've got something that feels pretty good. So we're still in the testing stages, but we've got a prototype that we feel is moving in the right direction that will allow us to create new and unique gaming experiences.
So that's why we didn't unveil it at E3, because we're not positive that that's the controller we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we didn't show it was, we show it off and people copy it, imitate it,
right.
And so we just don't want to show our hand quite this early. So, when we first introduced analog, of course, immediately after other companies were all rushing to get analog involved, and when we talked about our Rumble Pack, then of course there were companies who, chased after us and wanted to implement this Rumble feature. So right now I'm just, I have to sit here and keep my mouth closed.
Okay. All right, talk a little bit about the strategy behind the name Revolution. What's the marketing strategy behind that?
Sure. The meaning of the term or the name Revolution really comes from the fact that I think that we've gone beyond the age where video games were unique, or they were this new phenomena where people were experiencing them for the first time, and we really come into an age where you have gamers and you have non-gamers, and there's a pretty clear division. And what we want to do is again create this experience that maybe pulls new gamers in, keeps the core gamers satisfied, and just reach people of all ages, so that and all experiences, so that we have a nice broad appeal to the market. And so we are, for us, that is changing the way video games are presented to the public, and that's where the name Revolution comes from.
So with games like Electroplankton and Nintendogs, very innovative, something different that we haven't seen before, Is that a love for you? Is that what you want to continue making? Is that type of innovative game?
Sure. You know, I started with Nintendo. I came into Nintendo with the idea of making unique toys. That was my original love. I wanted to make unique things for people to play with. On the other hand, I want to create games like Zelda where, you know, you have that installed fan base and you are giving the people what they want. And so I have a lot of desires and a lot of wishes. I want to do all of it. I want to create all the new stuff, and I want to keep making the things that people love.
Well, that brings me to Zelda and Mario specifically. It's like they can do no wrong. What is it that people love so much about these two franchises?
For myself, I like to make video games that really immerse the player in the gaming experience, so that if there's something exciting happening, they feel excited. If there's something, you know, frightening, that they feel scared, that they are really involved and committed to what's happening on screen. That's my approach to making video games.
So last question about the Revolution. Do we have launch titles, price, and launch date?
Well, all I'm responsible for are thinking of titles. The rest of that stuff is all up to Mr. Iwata.
Okay. I'll talk to him next then.
Well, one thing I can do is we're working on a new Mario title. Whether or not that's Mario 128, I'm not going to say, but we are working again on a new Mario title.
And what about original titles that we haven't seen? Is there a new character that we're going to be seeing this year that we have yet to announce?
Well, if you know, we're thinking of possibly, you know, being Nintendogs on there, which again we're looking at. But what our real goal is to something that would take full advantage of and realize the potential of the relationship between the controller and the hardware.
I want to talk a little bit just about the days of the NES, you know, and why do you think the NES was so successful? Because that's where a lot of Nintendo fans really got pulled in, and they never really left.
Well, the key is the software. You know, we were told that, you know, video games aren't going to sell. You know, it's not going to sell in America. They're just not working. But again, the software is the key. If people enjoy the product, the software product, of course, then the hardware will be moved with it. And our goal was at that point was just to create something that people would enjoy, so that you know, if the software works, then people are going to buy the hardware. And that's where the success came from, is from having software that was well done.
Okay. Now, you're sort of the father to a lot of famous characters. Is there that one character that you love more than the rest for any reason whatsoever?
Well, the reason I'm able to do this work and the thing that enables me to continue this work, I mean, it all started with Donkey Kong, so I guess I'd have to say Donkey Kong.
We announced some new features on the DS, and you talked about some innovative stuff that you want to do. What are some of the new things we'll see on the DS?
Well, some of the things that we've shown you today, obviously we showed you Nintendogs, we showed you Electroplankton, but and something I mentioned very briefly earlier was sort of a brain teaser, sort of a brain exercising software, maybe qualifies as edutainment, and this was developed in cooperation with a university professor. So they're going to have some knowledge testing software that will tell you, the age of your brain. Through a series of questions. We also are developing a very handy portable dictionary that can be used on the DS. And we're also creating something from Japan where it involves the entrance examination for elementary schools. So these are designed for pre-elementary school children to familiarize them with some of the questions they'll be asked on their entrance exams. And it's pretty fun in that sometimes you get 8 adults together and they're answering these questions designed for these children, and it's pretty hysterical to watch them try to race to get these answers. And the one I mentioned earlier about the software that will tell you the age of your brain uses all of the DS functionality in that there are some writing portions, there are some voice sections where you have to speak into the microphone. So this software really, again, uses all of the DS functionality. So my parents, who are both over 75, have both demanded that I bring them this title as soon as it comes out. It comes out on the 19th, actually, and they've already told me that they want it immediately.
Well, it sounds like as a game maker, Nintendo has a few toys that you can actually create games for right now. We've still got the GameCube, the Game Boy Advance, but the DS. It sounds like you're having the most fun creating games for the DS right now. Is that because of the creative possibilities?
やっぱり。
Yes, there are, with the DS functionality, there are a lot of things that I've wanted to do in the past that I wasn't able to do, that I'm now able to do, so that's good. Yeah, the possibilities that the DS represents makes it the most fun at this point.
So we know that you play the banjo. Are we going to see a future banjo game?
あれはね、
Well, playing the banjo is kind of an obsession, so I don't think that's probably a good idea to make a game out of that.
Okay. And are the congas going to make an appearance in Zelda?
それは多分
Probably not this time, but should we put it in the next one? Maybe?
Sure, right. So outside of what Nintendo's bringing to the table, what other games are you looking forward to seeing, or what's the one game that you're looking forward to seeing at E3?
今はあまりないですね。
I'm the type of guy that always gets, if I get stuck down or I end up looking at a lot of different things and there are things that certain people are looking forward to, or even if there are things that I'm looking forward to, I generally tend to drift towards the one that looks like it's about to be forgotten, that maybe no one has discovered yet. So for me, the thing I look forward to the most is finding something that I haven't heard of, something new.
Has there ever been a game created that you wish you would have been a part of the process to make that game, like a non-Nintendo game? Like the Katamari Damacy's, or is there a game that you say, I would have been a fun thing to be a part of?
パクピクスとかね。
Pac-Pix and Katamari Damacy, which are obviously I think are very creative games, really unique ideas, but they're rival developers. And so while I might think that, wow, that's really unique, I really have a strong sense of what I want to do, and I want to create games that I think of.
All right, well, we appreciate it very much, Mr. Miyamoto. Thank you very much.